fuck is up, my bitches? If you are new here, hello, my name is Brittany. In today's video, we are going to be talking about my top fall eyeshadow palettes. It's titled Top 10, but you know there's going to be more than 10. So I'm going to go through all the palettes. I want to hear what you guys love. Basically, any palette can be fall, but there's certain ones that I'm just like, oh, I'm gonna rock the shit out of this during the fall time. So, hello to all the bitches in the live chat. What's good? What's poppin'? Happy motherfucking Friday. We're going camping for a couple days, so, who's ready for the weekend? I'm not quite yet. We're just drinking, you know, Sprite Zero. So, if you guys like this video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up or thumbs it down. That's cool, too. Do the settings look better today? I think they do. If you're wondering anything that's on my face or any of the products that I'm going to talk about today, they will be linked in the description box. They're not down there yet because y'all be snooping. So, after the video posts, everything that I'm wearing will be down there and all these palettes. So, let's get into my favorite fall palettes. So, I'm going to start with some newer ones and then we'll get into the throwbacks. And then we'll get into some, like, honorable mentions. Sound good? Sounds great. So, first one I wanted to talk about, I'm sure this is going to be in, like, everybody's fall palette, like, top 10 or whatever people do. The NATASHA DENONA, the Retro palette. I don't know why. Like, retro does not go with the vibe of this. Like, I feel like the name is just, it throws me off. I always think of the Zendo palette. I don't know. It's weird. Anyway, I have tried this palette a couple times now. So it is very new to my collection, but I'm like, for fall, the berry tones, the mauvey tones, bitch, fuck me up. And I will say, from the few times that I've tried this, I don't know, it's like I have a love-hate with NATASHA's metallic formula because comparing it to Indi brands, which I use fairly often, the metallics don't always blow me away. It's her mattes that I usually really like. But this palette, I'm like, every single look that I've done so far looks absolutely beautiful with this palette. So it's available at pretty much like every retailer at this point that NATASHA DENONA's at. I would shop this, like, wait for the friends and family sale for Sephora because it is, like, 65 bucks. Very expensive. If you guys still want a video on this, because I haven't featured it on my channel yet, I basically have worn this for, I think, every wedding that I filmed. This is very wedding appropriate. So, this one, definitely one of, like, my newer favorites because this is just a color story that speaks to me. And when I was picking these palettes, like, I have basically, like, a whole collection of, like, products or eyeshadow palettes that I like. I'm like, this is specifically for fall. So when I was thinking of my top 10, I'm like, okay, we're thinking of formulas, packaging, overall, how I feel about the palette. So, like, there's so many other good ones in my collection, but these were the ones that really stood out to me. Like, oh, if I'm going to wear these, it's going to be fall, and everything else about it is also fire. Does that make sense? Another new palette. I have not used this, I don't think, more than once, but this color story, it's so unique for my collection. This is the ODENS, and this is the collaboration with Annette's Makeup Corner. This is the Giant Wolves palette. So these, like, just launched. I did swatches on my Instagram, on my TikTok. Look at this damn color story. So, fall time, I'm like purples, mauvey tones, greens especially. So this palette, I'm just like, this has every single thing that I would want and more because it's just so unique. It's got the pops of blue in there and it's more cool tone because I feel like I wear a lot of warm tones. This one, it's just like, I love the color story. It's just a color story that speaks to me. ODENS always kills it on their packaging as well, and they have like a multi-chrome, like almost like iridescent sort of an eyeshadow. These are beautiful. The metallics are wonderful. The mattes are phenomenal. Don't sleep on ODENS. I still want to do this video of all three of the palettes, but out of the three, I think this one and Judy's palette are the most, like, fall appropriate for me, but this is the one I'm just like, I love this color story. So these aren't in any particular order either. It's just, it's so pretty. Look at that, right? Gorgeous. Love it. Okay, next one. Another super unique color story. Like, fall time, I'm like, all right, let's lean a little bit more cool tone. And then let's also get into, like, the grungy type of looks, right? Alien Cosmetics, the Not Normal palette. Another super unique color story for my collection. I did a dedicated video to this. I feel like pretty much every single Alien palette is very, like, fall appropriate. But I think this one, when I looked at all of them, like the Lore palette, the Fairy Frolic, the new Hauntingly Glamorous palette, like, I feel like they could all definitely be very fall vibey. But this is the one I'm just like, this is everything, and it's so unique for my collection. Look how different. I love it. I had so much fun playing with this palette. If you guys want more context on this palette, there's a video on it. But the purple was a little tricky for me in this one. But I fucking love this packaging too. I think it's so cute. So that's the Alien Cosmetics, the Not Normal. And then I think we're going to kind of start going into my older palettes, except for this one. If I had to pick one smaller palette, like that's a pre-made palette, you could just buy it. This is like the most perfect fall 9-pan eyeshadow palette, right? Like, look at this color story. It's, I don't know, it's like, it looks so basic, but it's pure perfection, and it's still so unique. And these metallics, like, if you have not tried NARS eyeshadows, look at the undertones. They're so, I just think they're so unique and beautiful. Another one, I did a dedicated video because I was hyped over this. As soon as I saw it, I'm like, oh, bitch, I need that in my life. And it's just fantastic. These look so flattering on my eyeballs. Especially, like, that shade right there. I don't know. It's just, like, I love this so much. The only thing that I don't like, the packaging is still really nice. Like, really high-quality plastic. It just doesn't go. Like, this packaging, if it had, like, a fall vibe moment, don't get me wrong. There's a time and a place for the red packaging. It's just for this color story, it doesn't really go for me. That's the literally only thing that I would change about it, because I think that palette is just, it's so beautiful. I think it's beautiful, at least. It's totally fall glam, Tracy. Yes! I feel like a lot of people did end up picking that up after, because I got that palette super quick, because I saw it available on Saks, like, before anybody did. I was like, add to cart, rush shipping, give that to me. I love that color story. Like, one of my favorite palettes of 2021, I think. That's how you know. Okay. Next one is Oldie But a Goodie. You know what? The Natasha Denona, the Mini Gold. This is like a perfect 5-pan palette for fall, right? It's got the grunginess to it. It's got the yellow tones. It's got the greens. It's such a good 5-pan. Like, this is hands down my favorite one of these that Natasha Denona did. I'm like, the nude palette was good, but I like this even more because I'm like, this is literally everything. It's so pretty. I love the shades that are in here. I'm a sucker for green eyeshadows. And it's like the grungy undertones in this. Is this still available? I'm not even sure. If it is, that's one I would highly recommend for fall of 2021. I think that some of these you're probably going to recognize from last year. Like, I'm pretty sure I did a fall, like, best of fall palettes last year. Whatever, we'll keep going. Next one. I'm going to save this one for later because it's so good. Okay, let's go to, there's one shadow in here you're probably going to be like, Brittany, that's not really fall. But it's literally everything else about this palette. It's the ADEPT Cosmetics, the KODANNE palette. Now this one, oh, bitch. It's so, let me just swatch and you're going to understand. It's so different. It kind of gives me the vibe of the NARS, except the shadows are definitely more vibrant, but the multichrome, this is my favorite palette that ADEPT has done so far. I have a feeling the newer palette might be more of a favorite. It's just something about this color story that I love, but why I said you're probably going to be like, Brittany, no, is I feel like the hot pink is kind of out of place with this one, but I'm not mad about it because I feel like it allows me to, like, transition into other, like, seasons, because I'm one of those people, like, I do associate my makeup with seasons. Oh my If you have not tried Adept Cosmetics, here's another multi-chrome for you. You need to get your life. Look at that shit. Again, favorite palette that Adept has done so far. Look at, you're seeing right down my shirt. Look at how... I can't. And this packaging, beautiful. I cannot wait for that new palette to drop. And I didn't notice until, I think after I shared it. They're doing two, like basically like how Sydney Grace does, like the lighter and the deeper version. Adept is doing the same thing. So I'm super psyched about that. But Adept KODANNE, this was actually sent to me by a subscriber. I'm so thankful because I love it. I was debating between that palette and the Ninhydrin, but I feel like the mattes in the Ninhydrin give me like the fall vibes that I like. But the metallics, which is what I love the most about Adept, it just pushed me in that direction more. But I still love the Ninhydrin as well. It's just a lot more focused on like the purples. Whereas this one, you have like the greens, you've got those multi-chromes, you've got, it's just such a beautiful palette. Can't wait for the new one. And then speaking of Sydney Grace, one of my favorite formulas for eyeshadows, the Sydney Grace Enduring Love palette. Fucking phenomenal. This is for when I want a cool tone moment. I was debating between this one and the NATASHA Denona Glam, but I like this one more because of the metallics. And I get like a similar vibe. They're so shiny and reflective. They give me basically like what I love about MAKEUPGEEK. I feel like if you're familiar with MAKEUPGEEK metallics, even MAKEUPGEEK mattes, very similar formula in my opinion, but this is just, it's like all the fall vibes, right? Beautiful. Like, especially if you're getting married and you love cool tones, such a beautiful palette for that. I love it. I mean, you could see why. And they're so easy to work with. They're blendable. Like, they give you that effortless blend that I love and look for in eyeshadows. Just look at Sydney Grace fucking kills it, man. I think I still have a discount code with Sydney Grace. I think it's like Britches or Britches 15. It's in the bottom of my description box always for my like affiliate codes or discount codes. So that one's still amazing. Love it. I was debating between the Mel Thompson palette as well. But I feel like this one, Enduring Loves, there's just something about this that I'm like, oh yeah, fall vibes. Like fall, cool tones. It's so funny, too, because I feel like I should be more gravitated towards warm tones for fall, because, like, the colors of the leaves and shit, but I feel like I gravitate more towards warm tones in the summertime, like all the bronzy vibes, and then fall, winter, I'm like, nah, give me the cool tones. So, next palette, I feel like this is the one everybody's probably expecting. NATASHA Denona Metropolis. NATASHA is straight fucking up by not giving us more palettes like this because, first of all, everybody loved this palette. I feel like this is a staple palette for a collection. Even if you don't have a huge collection, but it's like, you want really great quality. You want to invest in a really great eyeshadow palette that can transition if you're one of those people like me that likes to basically like pick and choose when they use their palettes, if that makes sense. I feel like this is, like, perfect for holiday, perfect for summer, perfect for spring, like, literally every single season. And this is, like, the color of the leaves in the fall time. Like, it is pure perfection. It's so good. I get so happy. The only thing that I would change about this one, though, is it's very heavy on, like, the, like, coppers and golds. Like, we probably didn't need that many. I want one of these palettes in, like, a neutrals. Basically like a bridal palette, like cool tones and warm tones all mixed. Ooh, that would be the best. Like I said, NATASHA is fucking up by not giving us more of these because I feel like that is one palette that I consistently still see in people's rankings, people's like top 10s. I always see Metropolis make an appearance, and it always makes an appearance in my videos as well. It's so good. If I were to recommend any NATASHA Denona palette, it's Metropolis. Just saying. And then I gotta give my basic britches a palette for fall and winter. Like, I love neutrals. You all know this by now if you watch my channel. If I gotta pick a neutral palette for fall, it's this one until the new VIEVE palette comes out. So this is the VIEVE Essentials palette. This gives me that grungy, neutral, glam moment, and it's everything. Like, this I feel like Jamie did. It's Jamie Genevieve's brand, if you guys didn't know. I feel like this just reminds me of her and her makeup style. Like, she's very 90s glam, and I live for it. It's just, like, the undertones are perfect. It's such an amazing palette. They blend so easy. There's, like, the perfect amount of pigmentation. In the metallic formula, it's very different for my collection. Like, it's not super creamy and shiny and reflective. It's very unique. Like, I feel like I don't have anything in my collection that resembles her metallic formula. It's very, very unique, like I said. I love this fucking brand. They need more hype, okay? I don't understand why me and Kendall are the only two people that I feel talk about VIEVE on a consistent basis. It's a problem. And if you're wondering the blush and highlight, it's VIEVE. Okay, so that one is definitely my neutral, like, neutral warm pick. Yup. And then, this is technically, I think, number 10, but then I'm going to still give you more because I have to. Alright, if I had to pick a favorite palette in my collection, like, you take everything away, and this is the one that I keep, I feel like y'all are gonna know. Lunar Beauty Moonspell. Oh, bitch. If I designed a palette, it would look something like this. I would obviously change a little bit, but damn, this was such an amazing palette, and I'm so excited to see what he comes out with next, because supposedly he's doing, like, a Moonspell sister palette. But from this packaging, like, oh my god. Okay, Brittany Fox, I'm gonna need to watch her, because I'm like, how does not everybody rave about VIEVE? I don't understand. So the Moonspell palette, like, absolutely crushed it on every single aspect. I used to love Lunar Beauty's formulas a lot more, but I think some have taken the place over them. But it's this fucking color story. It's the aesthetic of all of this is everything. So those are my palettes, like, pre-made, are like, you could buy them as is palettes. Top 10. But if you're wondering what's on my eyes, I did this video last year, and you guys are asking for it again, so I'm probably going to give it to you. MAKEUPGEEK eyeshadows, bitch, are the GOAT. Okay, I know nobody really talks about MAKEUPGEEK as much as I do, but they are literally still the GOAT. Let me give you... Do you see that blend? Do you see how beautiful and natural but gorgeous? So wearable. Like, I feel like that's my favorite thing about MAKEUPGEEK is it's the undertones. So I just put this palette together. Totally wung it. So this is what you're seeing on my eyeballs right now. It's the undertones that they use that make color so much more approachable. Does that make sense? Because you guys, if you watched my video yesterday, like, I did something really out of my comfort zone that was more difficult for me to do because I'm not the most well-versed with color. This just gives you, like, the perfect step into color. But it just goes with skin tone so well. And just the overall, the whole fucking matrix system, I love it. I love how it's just, like, it makes it so easy to understand and use. And then I love the fact that you could just create your own, like, you can create your own 9 pans. You can create your own 4 pans. And it's like, no, they don't launch new stuff all the time. But they're always inspiring you to basically, like, play with your collection. Because they're always introducing, like, new quads, new 9 pans, like... I don't know, they just do things so different than what most brands do that I feel like we're so used to. I literally cannot get enough MAKEUPGEEK. I feel like, especially now, like, obviously you guys have seen me talk more frequently about them, but I feel like I've consistently talked about MAKEUPGEEK for literally years, and I just became an affiliate of them, and I borderline shit my pants, because, oh my god. So, that's what's on the eyes. I always recommend MAKEUPGEEK, so it's no surprise if you're familiar. It's not like I became an affiliate and all of a sudden I'm talking about them. Nah, that's not how I roll. So, I also want to give an honorable mention to a discontinued palette, but But I wanted to give you guys an option, like, if you like this color story, it might be something, because I feel like this honestly is like fall in an eyeshadow palette, but obviously you can't get it anymore. And that's the Raw Beauty Christie, the At For A Sight with ColourPop. Tell me that this is not fucking fall in a palette, right? It's just, it's beautiful. They did a great job on the packaging. Like, if ColourPop was more consistent, I would buy them on a consistent basis. But they're so inconsistent. It's like, sometimes they do something like this, and then other times they do something that's like hot trash, and then hot trash, and then it's like, oh, okay, this is good. Basically, like, whenever they're doing collabs, I feel like it's pretty good, but when they're on their own, like, creating their own stuff, it's either, like, repeats of what we already seen, or something really similar, or, like, the packaging is kind of half-assed. Whereas when they do collabs, I'm like, alright, I could fucks with ColourPop. But since that palette isn't available, I always, like, associate these two together, because I still feel like this is a really great fall palette. It's just the ones that I showed I like a little bit better, but this palette is still bomb. The Urban Decay, the Naked Wild West, I think this one was sent to me by Urban Decay, but I can't remember. But if this color, like, if you like the color story of the Raw Beauty Christie At For A Sight, I feel like this gives you a similar vibe. It's not identical by any means. This was just on sale for, like, half off. That's a run, don't walk, because when I did my video on this, it looks very warm tone, but I did, like, such a beautiful, cool tone eye look with this. Toot my own horn real quick. I just think this is a great palette, and I think that they're, I don't know, like, the Naked, it's always so boring to people, but they are still really great, like, staple palettes to have. So I still recommend this one, but obviously the other ones just rank a little bit higher. And then this other one, I don't know why, I'm just like, I just see myself using this so much more in fall, but when you look at the color story, it doesn't really make sense. But I feel like this brand is so underrated for their eyeshadows and products in general, and that's Scott Barnes. Scott Barnes, I think, does such a beautiful job on his color stories, on really anything that he does. Like, I usually like everything because he's a makeup artist, and I feel like it just makes sense when he does things. So this one, I could see myself using more towards, like, winter time, just with, like, the blues and the purples. It's more, like, icy, but this is inspired by, like, 90s sort of a glam. And that's, I think, if you were to summarize my makeup aesthetic, it's, like, kind of like a 90s vibe, but not really. It's, like, 90s undertones is what I like. So this palette, it's called the Atelier collection now, I think, or the Atelier palette. It was previously known as the Glamazon palette, and I've done a video on this as well. I compared it to the BH Cosmetics, like, Blueberry Muffin palette. They're not similar at all, but my favorite thing about Scott Barnes are his, I don't want to call them metallics because they're really not. There's something really unique about his formula because it's like, they have pigmentation to them, but it's more of, like, the sparkle effect that they have on your eyes. Like, they look so much prettier on your eyes than they do, like, when you swatch them. It's very strange, but this is another brand. I'm like, I feel like his brand does not get the hype that he should. So if you want more context on this palette, and see, I think I might have done 3 looks in that video. But if you guys want, it's called the Glamazon. I think that's the name of the video, but it's now called the Atelier palette. So there's that. So, with all that being said, I'm sorry I wasn't paying much attention to the live chat today. Did you guys notice Fly Shadow was not in the video yesterday? At least I didn't see him. He's back. Go away. So, I want to know, guys, what is your either, like, top 5, top 10, like, what are your favorite fall eyeshadow palettes? And stay tuned because I do want to do another video with MAKEUPGEEK since they expanded their range with the metallic formula. But it's like, I love piecing these palettes together, and something really fun that I did for a recent giveaway was I was asking you guys, like, for your perfect 9 pans, and I might start recreating them and then doing, like, looks with them because I think that would be really fun. Like, an easy way to tie you guys into a video, so then it's like if I'm featuring your palette sort of a thing. I just thought it was really fun, and I was having so much fun posting them on my Insta story because you guys were all tagging me. So if you guys did like this video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. I know this is a different time. I'm usually live at night or earlier in the morning, but let me know what your favorites are, any new ones that you're interested in. And, I mean, I was gonna do a whole collection of eyeshadow palettes, but I'm like, literally every palette can be considered, like, a fall palette. Like, I have so many neutral palettes that you could be like, oh yeah, this is perfect for fall. Like I said earlier, these are just, like, the top ones that come to mind specifically for fall. So other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope to see you guys in my Sunday's video. I should be back for a blush declutter on Sunday, and if you don't like declutters, I'll be back for new makeup releases on Monday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, bye!